Dang, we haven't talked about Pixar in a while on this channel. Last time was the Win or Lose series, which was honestly such a fun series to cover. It seems like everyone's experiencing Pixar fatigue nowadays. Or, to be honest, maybe Disney fatigue. We've seen Disney get their hands on, at this point, 3 IPs, and in turn, somewhat ruin them. That's debatable though. I've always kept my faith in Pixar though. Although this is the first time I can confidently say I wasn't immediately excited for this movie. So, how does it hold up? Hey guys, what's going on? It is me, Pancake Yoshi or Alberto. Welcome back to the video. Today we're discussing the brand new Pixar animated movie that is making waves across the world. We just have to see on Monday if it's gonna be successful with its opening weekend. Let's just say, in terms of creating original content, this is pretty important for Pixar. If you're new to our channel, hi, my name is Pancake Yoshi and I like animation just as much as Elio loves aliens. They totally mentioned LGMs during this movie, and me and my coworker totally flipped out when we heard them say it. Let's just get right into it. So to answer the question prompted in the title of this video, no, I don't think Elio is a bad movie, or even a bad Pixar movie for that matter. I do, however, think that sometimes the story was a little cookie cutter or just basic, but other than that, I didn't see any problems with this movie. I did notice a lot of Easter eggs when I was watching this movie. Like for example, towards the beginning, when they were in Elio's house, there was some construction paper that was mighty suspicious. It looked like an ofrenda from Coco. And I also did notice that the Communiverse's assembly kinda looked very similar to the Senate from Star Wars. Do it! I also did read online that the post-credit scene of the lizard playing with a tablet is referencing Pixar's next film, Hoppers, which I honestly had no idea was coming out, and for that matter, was coming out very soon. It's set to come out in March of next year, and there's a good amount of information surrounding it, so if you guys are okay with it, I'm down to make a video talking all about it. I think Elio as a movie is really solid. It just plays it safe. The backstory of him learning about space and him getting obsessed with it is pretty accurate to how most of us find hyperfixations at a young age, and make it our entire personality for the next couple years. Like for me, when I owned a total of 17 Harley Quinn plushies and watched the Harley Quinn show 17 times. But, you know, who's counting, am I right? Elio sends a message to outer space using his mom's clearance and gets sent to youth camp, mostly as punishment. It's here that first contact hits, and Elio is transported to the wonderful world of the Communiverse, not to be mistaken by the wonderful world of Gumball. The other ambassadors mistake Elio for being the leader of Earth, and obviously, he stands by this ginormous lie. Grigon pleads to be a part of the Communiverse, but once he's denied, he promises to take down the entire community. When Elio finds out this means they will take him back home, he volunteers as tribute to negotiate with Grigon to try to, you know, cool his jets. The scene of them negotiating was probably one of my favorites in the entire movie. I just love the little banter between them. He unfortunately upsets Mr. Grigon, and he meets his son, Glordon, who is still a larva. Elio uses Glordon as a bargaining chip, but when he swaps his body out for a clone, Grigon notices, and he just completely shoots the head out of his own child. That's pretty freaking cold if you ask me. Even if you were 100% sure that it was a clone, how are you able to look your son in the eye and just shoot him? That's pretty freaking insane. Elio gets sent back to Earth for his misdeeds, and Glordon also happens to stow away in Elio's spaceship and winds up on Earth. And after a really horrific scene of clone Elio dismembering and giving all those poor adults PTSD for the rest of their lives, they finally make it to space. Their path is blocked, and they have to use radio chatter from Earth to help them navigate through space junk, like Space Junk Galaxy from Mario Galaxy. And this was such a heartwarming scene. My friend did have a good point though. It did drag on just a little bit too long, but it was still good. From there, the father and son reunite, and that's pretty much the end. Elio gets appointed the ambassador of Earth, which is what he always wanted, but he decides to go back to Earth and live his life with his mom, but promises that he's going to come back and visit one day, which teases Elio 2. Nah, I'm just playing. Or maybe. It always depends if a movie does well, if they're going to make a sequel for it or not. Pixar is very smart. Just look at Toy Story and Cars. I'm glad that Pixar is still allowing these original animated concepts to hit the big screen. After their 10,000 sequels, I think we deserve some original content. To me, Elio had some really funny moments. The story beats hit sequentially, and the animation is absolutely stunning, which is what you would expect from a Pixar movie. The only thing it lacked, in my opinion, was a more compelling and groundbreaking story that wasn't so predictable by the first act. That's all it really needed for me to give it a really high score. When I went into Pixar's Win or Lose, I had no expectations, and that series exceeded my expectations. I don't think the same can be said for Elio for me. I came in with low expectations and got just about what I was expecting. It was a fine movie, just not much to really crave about. I love the atmosphere and the quippy dialogue between Elio and the guy from The Meaning of Life. That was so awesome, and everyone from the Communiverse felt very different and distinct, which was so nice to see. The strongest point in this movie was obviously the relationship between the parents and their children. It was so sweet. You can kind of tell that Pixar had some issues behind the scenes with the production of this movie. I can't put my finger on it, but it just feels so apparent for me. Maybe it was because they announced this movie back in 2022, and it took them so long to release it. I personally thought this movie was at risk of being cancelled. I'm just glad they stuck it through. I just hope it reaches the audience they were hoping for. Space is such a cool subject and setting for a movie. It's kind of hard to ruin such a cool concept for an animated movie. Oh wait. But besides that one, this one is a lot better. They just needed to fully lean into the wacky sci-fi part of space exploration, and that movie would have been fine. Kinda like the Buzz Lightyear animated show, if any of you guys remember that one. I know, call me Unk, I am Unk now. But yeah, these are my thoughts on Pixar's Elio. It's honestly worth a watch if you're a Pixar fan. I haven't done this in a really long time, but if you're an OG, you know that I always give a ranking to my films. So let's do that here. With that being said, I'm giving this movie 7 oohs out of 10. A really solid kids movie. It just needed more Ambassador Cuesta. But with that, I'm gonna end off today's video. If you did enjoy, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It goes a really long way for a small creator like myself. I have a lot of juicy stuff planned for this channel, so be sure to stick around. Be sure to comment down below what you thought of Pixar's Elio. What'd you think of my opinions? Did you enjoy this movie more than I did? Or did you dislike this movie more than I did? Let me know. As always, my name's been Alberto, or Punk Cake Yoshi. I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye bye.